Restorations back again. um, Second time today. Earlier this morning during the stream, I showed you guys how I paint these things, and now that I finished all the painting and everything's dry, we're gonna do a stream and finish the rest of the saw. So pretty much all there is left to do that's of any effort is the handlebar, which I've done before. I've actually done a tutorial on how to actually do it, but we're gonna go ahead. Now let me show you the outcome on the parts here. Here's the clutch cover, nice and clean, painted. There's the top handle piece. This is the one that we actually unboxed yesterday from eBay. If you guys remember how pitted it was on the corroded and pitted it was on the rear handle, and under here was pretty bad too. This spot was not very clean looking, but now it is. I mean, it's as clean as you're gonna get. The throttle trigger has been properly masked off, just like it would have been. Throttle lock button, even the throttle linkage masked, and this. So yeah, and here's the fan cover. Fan cover is complete. The identification tag. We put the black paint back on the edges where it was kind of ruined. As you can see, 245A. Oh, got dirt on it in my own hands. A little oil. But yeah, there you have it. It's looking good. There's our box of hardware. Finish it. Here's the tops. I didn't show you the tops. Farm yellow, early model logo or decal. There's the gas tank cover. Really good shape. It's got a rubber gasket in there. I haven't used one of these in a long time. I'm not really a fan of them. I do like the cork better. And the reason is I feel like these sometimes make the tank sit up a little too high. And then, like, no matter how much you tighten it, and then when you go ahead and put these on, like, they don't line up perfectly. Like, this will kind of be up a little bit. You know, but whatever. I mean, the important thing is that the gas tank is sealed, and that you can flip that saw 180 degrees or 360 degrees and not leak any gasoline. That's what you want. So here's our rebuilt carb, new diaphragm, spring, everything, and reeds have all been flipped, cleaned. Here's our muffler. Even the oiler lever gets sanded and cleaned. See that? Alright. And I've showed you guys the crankcase in another video. So first things first, actually, I'm going to grab some gloves. Doing the handlebar the proper way here. It's a little bit of a process, but worth the result you get. I've seen quite a bit of like brochures and advertisements from Poland in the 60s and 70s. You know, really good color photos of their lineup and the stuff they were selling, and they would have almost a mirror finish on these handlebars when they were first made and sold. You could like see yourself in them. I tried my best to get them as close to that as possible, and I'm going to show you how. If you haven't seen the videos, I'm going to do it live. It's a standard later model handlebar here, thick rubber. to a razor blade. You know what? I like to cut them from the inside because this metal is super soft and it scratches pretty easy. Just score it. Peel it. Go. This is trash. I've yet to find a accurate replacement for that wrap, but thankfully I haven't really had anybody book a restoration with me and ask for that specific style of handlebar wrap. But I am gonna get looking into it and see if I can find a good replacement. Spray a little cleaner on here. Get all the dirt off. This will also remove any residual adhesive from the wrap and even the overspray paint that's on the bottom of these usually. This will take care of all that. And that's just straight up gum out, guys. You can get it. It's $5 a can, literally $5 a can at the dollar store. Ace Hardware, you're gonna spend like $2 extra. I mean, this stuff's powerful so much so that it's like eating the gloves off. I don't even really need the gloves yet, but all that dirt off. Spot on the inside, all that dirt in here. Because all that is a little spacer. I've been flirting with the idea of creating handlebars from scratch. It can be done. I know it can. It's just a matter of, getting the right material. This is super lightweight aluminum, so I imagine this could be done with like electrical conduit, as long as you get the right diameter. And you'd have to get you'd have to fill it with sand and get a pegboard and get it to where it would match, and then just wrap your metal around the pegboard to match it. And then, but it would have to be filled with sand though, so that way when you bend the edges it doesn't crimp. It stays round like that. And then we'd have to put spacers inside of here, because there is a spacer on each side. You can see it, one in here and one in here. And that's just so when you put the hardware in here, it doesn't smash the handlebar when you tighten it. And then you could make as many of them as you want, because they are hard to find. So if anybody out there has any idea on how to do that, if they're good with pipe bending, let me know. Maybe we could partner up on something, make it happen. I know there's guys that talk about maybe 3D printing like tops like this. I don't know if that'd be worth the investment or the work, just because it's like you're doing that to convert 306As, I assume, and they don't really make them anymore. Not to say there isn't a lot of them, because there is. It's just like, what are you going to do once they're all converted? So somebody would have to find a really cheap and easy way to do that for it to be worth it, I think. All right, 120 grit sandpaper first. These surface scratches off first, like this. and any residual adhesive and dirt that I couldn't get off with the cleaner. This will handle that. Side, inside. I mean, you guys can see that this is very soft metal, because this sandpaper is just, already it looks better, you know, just sanding it alone. But that ain't enough for us. We're gonna go the extra mile. I've used sandpaper itself, but I feel like you unintentionally create too much pressure with it, and you don't really let the sandpaper do the work for you, and then you end up kind of just scraping it a lot deeper than you need to. So I like to use the block, and I kind of just let the block do the work. Alright, so far, that's why we got the gloves, because this crap gets all over you. So far, just with the first round of 120, it's already looking better. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go just like that, but then we're gonna go even finer one time. Even finer, really quick. This does make the world of difference, guys. You'll see at the end here. Wish I could do a... Well, I have another one over there somewhere I can show you comparison. It's in a little bit better shape than this, but... And the sandpaper alone gets you a nice, clean, smooth finish. But the polish is going to really make it pop. You'll see. So I believe we went from 120 to 160, I think. I'll have to look in the bag of these and tell you exactly what grit this block is. But this is what I like to use. I mean, we're moving up in the world here. Look at that already. Okay. Change my gloves again, real quick. It's because we're going to take this rag And we're going to wipe off any dust or dirt that's on it. We want to make sure this is super clean before we do anything else. You don't want none of that crap on there. Alright, now, let me plug this, man. Maybe you'll sponsor me. This stuff right here. This was referred to me by a guy named Steve, who also he owns a restored 245A from another guy, cat named Mike Spencer, big influence on me. He bought a saw from Mike a while back, and Mike restored it, did a phenomenal job. And he actually referred me to this stuff. Eagle One Never Dull metal polish, and it is just, I mean, I'm going to show you. Actually running out. It's almost time for me to get a new can. This is how it comes. This wool stuff soaked in polish. You're going to peel some off for yourself. You don't need a ton. I may do 2 rounds. We'll see what happens. Start like this. Get it all over the handlebar. Scratch it on there real good. And you can see that it's even still, it's digging in that metal. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Flip it around. It's really the sides and bottom that you want to get really well, just because that's what's going to be exposed. The top's not going to be exposed, but might as well just do the whole damn thing, you know. Flip it again. Guys, I recommend using gloves. Don't do what I'm doing. I don't take care of my hands, clearly. And my body's got a tolerance for the shit that I do to it while I'm doing these restorations. Like, I'm not even kidding you. So use gloves, don't be like me. Like in the early days of me doing restorations and like using rattle cans, I actually gave, and this is a real thing, you can look it up, I gave myself something called spray paint flu. It's a real thing. I mean, I was sick as a dog. I spent the whole day outside restoring a chainsaw with like Rust-Oleum lemongrass. And I'm out there for about 4 or 5 hours throughout the day, just painting, no mask, not thinking. And I felt it by the end of the night. I was just like, it's kind of hard to breathe. For the next 3 weeks, man, I was tore up. My lungs were hurting, throat was sore. And at the time, some of you guys know, I was singing full time. I was working at a bar down here in Nashville, singing full time, so that was rough. So always wear a mask and gloves when you have to, guys. I mean, already you can see a big difference just from what we've done so far. For us, this will probably be enough, but you could go again if you really want to. You can get another round of polish on the handlebar, really bring it out. But this is what every saw that I restore endures, the same thing that you guys have seen today. I do it to all of them, aside from very special requests or specific jobs. Full restoration, cosmetic restoration, this is what happens to all of them. And bam, already the shine on that thing. So, I may hit it again, actually. Let's hit it one more time. Just one more. Not even a lot, see? Who's watching here? Yo, MP Reaper in the house. Good to see you, man. Thanks for watching. Go follow his channel, guys. He's got hella horror stuff. TCM, Ghostface. Alright, there we go. This will definitely be the last round of this that I do. There's after this, there's actually no more need for anymore. So we're gonna call that, and now polish it with a dry rag. And we'll get the final look. I think the next can of this stuff that I buy, they have like a extra super shine. I may try that, like extra glossy polish, just to see. Some restorations it doesn't look right, but something like this where we're trying to go for what it would look like when it was on the showroom floor, when it was brand new in the 70s. That's the references I use. And of course, if we're doing a Leatherface replica, which we just restored one and took a bunch of videos of it, it's on the channel, a couple of them actually, if you want to see. They entail basically the same process. Everything from the disassembly, cleaning and sanding, priming, repaint, but after that it endures a whole lot more. So we end up doing all the weathering and scraping and hand painting. So that's why I charge a little bit more for the Leatherface replicas, just because they require a lot more work. Even more than what you see going on right now. And I don't typically shine the handlebars on the Leatherface replicas because that handlebar wasn't very shiny. I do clean them though. Alright, that's enough. See that? Done. Move this off to the side. And rid of our trash. Guys, I swear, I'm actually, you may not believe it by what you see on this table right now, but I'm actually a clean freak. So I try to be. I mean, I'm not a very cluttery kind of person. I hate clutter, especially when I'm like working or doing something. I actually got to restock. This is what the handlebar wrap looks like when I buy it. I've experimented with so many different shrink tubings, and I've even dipped them to experiment to see what I could get, what was the absolute best as far as compared to the originals. And believe it or not, guys, I found the perfect wrap right here. I got it on Amazon, of all places, and it costs $8 for 13 feet of it. It's super cheap. The thickness of it matches the dipped handlebars like perfectly. You cannot tell the difference. And you know, sometimes it's the easiest, simplest stuff that makes the best replacements. You know, I was really shocked. You would think that the dip would have been the best option, but it just wasn't. It didn't sit right, and you know, it obviously wasn't the same exact chemicals that Poland used. I tried, what's that, Flex Seal, and then Plastidip I tried, like, and then Industrial Dip, and none of it turned out right. It just didn't. Just too thick. terrible. But this right here, this is what we want. So I'm going to back you guys up just a little bit here. Sorry if I screw the view up. Move the secondary light out of the way. Turn our heat gun on, let that get hot. While that's warming up, I'll show you really quick. Little trick to help this go smoother. Spray a tiny bit of WD-40 inside the tube. Don't do that too much because it'll create a air pocket and then it'll literally like boil inside of there and pop. Like it'll blow a hole in the shrink tubing. I've done that before. Trust me, you don't want that to happen. Then you got to cut the whole thing off and start from scratch again. But that's all you need, and then kind of just run it through like this a little bit. Start from the top and slide it on. Just like this. You want to give yourself enough slack to pull on it, because it is imperative that you pull on this while it's heating up, because if you don't, you're going to get all that crap. You don't want none of that. So it's got to be pulled on. You can use pliers as well. I've got my own little way of doing it. It's kind of awkward, but I press it up against my stomach or my thigh, and I just pull and very carefully get it on the heat. So I might be in a kind of awkward position here for a moment. You guys really won't be able to see. Bear with me. You also want to make sure that you start with the heat. You got to start somewhere in the middle and then work your way outward. You know, don't just heat here and then heat here, because that's how you get bubbles. And then I kind of press it and pull as I run it along the heat. Every once in a great while, you'll get a bad batch of this stuff that'll have like bumps in it, and they cause issues. But this is a good strip, so we shouldn't really have any issues here. Let that cool down a little bit before I grab it. There you go. Because I'm stretching and pulling as I go, there's no bubbles, no creases. It's tough, it is, and it's going to take you a couple times to do it, I promise. The first few times I've done it, it came out really ugly. But the good thing is this stuff cuts off very easy. Just let it dry and just run a razor blade through it, and it comes off very, very easily. Just peel it right off. Start over. And I mean, for $8, guys, you get 13 feet. In my opinion, I think every man should have this in their arsenal of fucking tools, because you can use this for a lot of stuff, guys. This is like, I've re-grit tools with it. You know, I know you guys see me with almost every video where I do cold starts, or when I'm tuning a carburetor. I know you guys see me constantly using this right here, this little guy. I've used it so much that the grip came off. I used the handlebar grip to give it a new handle. So everybody should have some of this. So this is what you're left with. Obviously there's a lot of slack. If you really wanted to, for the later model wrap, you can just cut it right here and you're done. I mean, but I also give it a shine too. I'll show you. It's clear coated. Now that we're through with that, we're going to unplug this, set it back in the box carefully, because the tip of that is hot as hell. You don't want it touching the cable or anything. Close it off and let that sit for a minute. I'm going to bring you guys back a little closer to the table. Okay. Starbucks coffee here, thanks to my beautiful girlfriend, Lexi Jade. You guys go check out her music. All right. Scissors, very, very sharp scissors. Snip. Now this part is extremely tedious, okay? Trying to get the early cuts. All right, I eyeball them these days because I've done so many of them, and I, you know, have a good idea of where they are, where the cuts are. But you're gonna need a rubber band of some kind. We're gonna try this one. Open it. I believe I've given you guys the measurements on this before. I think it's 8.5 inches from the table up. So what I mean by that is, when you set it like this on the table, you measure from here to here, and I believe it's 8.5 up is where you want to make your cuts. This one's easy because it goes straight around. This one is tough because you don't want to go around it this way. You want to, you know, we're trying to replicate the dipped look, and obviously when they dipped it, it went flush across. So this is the pain in the ass side. This side's easy. All we're going to want to do is this. Line that up. It's a little low. Raise it up just a little bit. About right here. And it is a lot better if the rubber band is flush. Here, you know, let me use a better one. I have teeny tiny ones here. And they're colored, so you can see on that black. This wasn't a good idea. It's literally the same color as the wrap. Courtesy of my my daughters, my little girls. These are their little hair ties. It's a big help. Still a little low. Always judge it by that curvature. See where it gets real thin at the curve? It's right after the handlebar gets thick again. That's where you want that cut line to be. And to help, you know, set it like this and get a good look at it. And remember, guys, it's better to, you know, it's better to cut this too low than it is too high, because you can always take more off. You can't put more back on. So if you have to, start that way. A lot of the times, if I don't feel like measuring, I already have I'll have an early handlebar taken off of a saw, and I'll just hold it up against this and, you know, make the marks with a pencil or a white paint pen and then cut it. But I actually don't have one off of a saw right now, and I'm not going to go ahead and do that just for this, you know. I've got faith in what we're doing here to do it just the way we are. Press it up with your thumbs a little bit. Okay, all right, that's looking good. Now we're going to take out this razor blade. The inside to be pressed upward just a touch. To replicate that dip look. So you could tell where the plastic, you can literally tell that they were moving like this. They were up this way and they were put in the dip at this angle. You can tell. And they may have kind of sat on a little bit of an angle like this. That's why some of them, the side comes down a little lower. And you can see the flow of the plastic on the insides here on the ends. And then you just rest this up against the rubber band and press and go around. Use that as a guide. You know, your cut is going to be as good as your placement of your rubber band. So, play with it for an hour if you have to. Getting your rubber band where you want it to be. Because like I said, that's where your cut's going to be. It's only going to be as good as your placement. Alright. Roll it off. On the inside, very gently score it. It should peel right off. Sometimes I don't score it enough. Clearly I didn't. It's always right where that screw hole is that I lose the cut line. There we go. We got one side down. And that actually looks perfect. That's like perfect placement. Luckily. Now, here's the shitty part. This is the part that gets on my nerves. This part requires a little bit more attention. So same deal pretty much. Start about here. And also too, the rubber band sometimes doesn't want to stay where it needs to. That's actually like perfect where it landed. Holy shit. That never happens, guys, I swear. But you see what I mean here? If I hold it like this, flush, let me see. See how it's going kind of at an angle? A lot of times when people cut these, they end up cutting it like that. You don't want it to go directly around. You want to imitate the dipped look. And they were dipped like that. So we want to try to get it straight across. And you got to play with it a little bit. You know, just press it up with your thumbs, roll it back and forth, whatever you got to do to get it to sit right where you need it. Because again, it's your cut is only going to be as good as your placement of the rubber band. That's not looking too bad. I want to make sure that it's not on an angle, just like this. That may be a little too low. Let's bring it up a touch. There we go. Not bad, guys. Cool. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. Now, yeah, see, I'm not really liking that. Really quick, just eyeball it. Measuring tape. Let's see where this cut is, or where the band is. See, that's right at the 8-inch mark right there. So I told you, I've eyed these up so many times, it's like barely off. It just needs to go down just a touch. Up the center, we want it to kind of come to a point, just a little bit. Just press it up with your thumb. I don't mean to be over-analyzing this, guys, but I want to make sure it's as accurate as possible. And I know I said you can go back and take off more. You can't put more back on, but I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to go twice. All right, I think we just nailed it right there. That's it. So now, same as before, we're going to take our razor blade and just press and roll. This is a little more awkward, I will say. Be careful not to move the rubber band either. That's tough. Press. Stay up against that rubber band. That's your guide. Bam. Take off the rubber band. Score it on the inside like last time. Gently. Peel it. Boom. There you have it. Early model dipped handle look. Actually, I think we nailed that one there. And that was pretty quick. Not much adjusting. You guys seen I only measured once. Let's see. Right there. That's perfect. So now that we're done with that, let me just wipe this a little bit. Shined, regripped, and the handprints and stickiness off. So for comparison, get the other one. This is essentially what this one looked like when we started. You can clearly see the difference. All right. this out of here. Set this down. Oh, we are now done with the handlebar. That'll be one of the last things that goes on the saw any damn way. So I am going to spray that and let it dry. The only thing left to do with it, like I said, to replicate the shine, I do spray it with an acrylic lacquer. This is for the handlebars only. Acrylic lacquer. Premium automotive formulation. This stuff, it never gets tacky, and it doesn't crack. It's very shiny. And the reason I use that on the handlebars is because this stuff here is, it's like a rubber, and it's got to flex a little bit, if you're holding it, moving it around. But I've used this on every single saw that I've restored, every handlebar, and I've never once had it crack. So invest in some of this for the handlebar at the end. I have tried other shrink wrap tubing that was already very shiny, but it doesn't look right. It doesn't look the same. And this stuff, whenever I've used it, when the handlebar is done, I've held it up against originals, and you literally can't tell the difference. The only way you can is that typically the original ones are nicked up and scratched, and the ones that I do are obviously brand new, so they're clean. So I will be right back in 2 seconds. I'm gonna go spray this and let it sit, and then we will continue on our little adventure here. I am gonna mute the microphone for a moment. Thank you guys for staying with me. Alright, I'm back. Thank you for sticking with me. So, here, really quick before I go let it hang and dry, here's what it looks like with the clear coat on it. No runs, no bubbles, no wrinkles. I mean, that is just... It's got that brand new look to it, baby. That's what we want. Now we're going to go let this hang and dry, and we're going to start the reassembly. If you've made it this far into the restoration, then you must be as big a nerd as I am for TCM. Oh, it did fall for a second. Holy cow. That's okay, it made it. I'm gonna let this dry. There we go. Alright, so while that's hanging and drying, we're going to put this away. We're going to clean up our little work area. Done with this. I got to make a note here. I got to order more of this handlebar wrap. It's only $8 on Amazon. If you guys are interested, the handlebar tutorial video that I posted a little while back, I actually posted the link in the description of where to buy that stuff. But yeah, I think it's $8 for 13 feet. And then it goes up from there depending on how much you want of it. You guys probably wouldn't need that much of it if you're only doing one saw, but still not that expensive. And like I said, it's good to have for a bunch of reasons. You can regrip tools, whatever. Knives in the kitchen, utensils. Alright, here we go. You know what? I actually should just clean my hands a little bit before I get to touching on that. Just doing the handlebar made this kind of dirty. So, I wash all my stuff in the sink too. People ask, like, well, what do you use to clean these saws? Just hot soapy water. And I use carb cleaner and a mixture of this. Just regular Dawn soap, really hot water, Dawn soap, carb cleaner, and got a bunch of different like little bottle brushes and scrub brushes that I use that get all that grime and dirt off. As long as you, if you take off the piston and cylinder before you clean a saw and you clean out a crankcase that way, you're getting water right in the crankcase. I know people freak out about that, but if you're quick about it and you dry it out and you get it oiled back up with WD-40 and get it moving before you let it sit and dry, you're not going to have any problems. Like, yeah, I spray water all the way inside the crankcase every time. It's not going to kill it. It's not going to destroy the saw. As long as you, like I said, as long as you get the oil on it right away, it'll be fine. And that's usually what I do. I just stuff a bunch of bottle brushes in there and spray it with the sink sprayer, and it does the job. It's not a big deal. You know, obviously you don't want to spray water in it and then let it sit without putting oil in it. Then you're going to have problems. The saw's going to be locked up, and you don't want that. So, let's move this. Here's our mat. Guys, this is actually gasket paper, gasket material. This is what that's what these are made out of. And the cylinder gaskets. I got a couple sheets of this that I use for these. But I have this one specifically for working on because it doesn't scratch the paint or stick to it. Half of this is obviously done because we did the crankcase a different day and reassembled it. So this is done, you know. Really isn't much left to do. So let's catch up. I put the handle grip back in as well, as you can see. Let me check the angle so you guys aren't just like staring at my floor or something. Alright. We get our oiler button. Oop, that I just dropped. There we go. If you want to know how to put this back in too, the writing, because these obviously most of the time they're worn out completely and there's no writing left. Buy you a pack of these on Amazon, $5 or $3. They're white gel pens, You want a 0.6 millimeter. That's the smallest tip you can get in these, and that fits perfectly inside of there, so you can put the writing back. You got to be really steady with it, though. It's a pain in the ass, and I mean, maybe some people don't care and they don't do that, but I'm overanalyzing every little detail, and that's just one of the extra little things that I do to make it look good. Oil or lever first. Here's a trick that I use. Hopefully it helps somebody. I put the lever inside of the top first and then hold it with my finger. Gently lay it over the crankcase. It falls right in place, and then really quick you just want to give this a little wiggle. Make sure it's on that pump. Make sure the lever's touching the pump. And then turn it around. Here's all our hardware. Also, make sure, this is crucial, every time you put a screw in on the gas tank side, guys, make sure it's the right size, because if you put one of these screws in, I know they're all the same diameter and the same size, they're all 5/16, but I'm telling you right now, if you put one in there that's too long, you will puncture the inside of this tank. I've seen it done so many times, man. It's just, I don't know, especially with the fan cover screw right here. I've seen so many saws where the inside of this casting is busted open, and they're like, I don't know why my saw is pissing gas. It's out of here. It's because you used a drill to torque it so damn tight, and you punctured the inside of the tank with a long screw. You don't want to do that. You got to be very careful with these things, guys. They're magnesium and aluminum. They're made in the 60s and 70s. They're not heavy steel or iron or anything. This isn't wanting to line up. There we go. Caught something. You don't want to get that super tight yet, guys, because you're going to have to, you may have to play with this. This one fit pretty good, but sometimes you'll get like a gap right here in the front, and then you'll have to just, put a little pressure on the front while you tighten it. But what I do to negate that is I just I just get them in tight enough to hold the part in place, and then once I get it adjusted where it needs to be, then I go ahead and tighten it with a wrench. That's the way to do it. Shout out to my buddy Mike Spencer. Shout out Mike Spencer over at Classic Poland Saws. Mike is the guy that turned me on to a lot of this stuff, but he showed me these pull rope handles here that are pretty damn close to the originals. If your 245 or 306A comes with a replacement pull handle, and you want authenticity and you can't just find a regular Poland pull handle, these ones will do. You can get them at Ace Hardware or Home Depot. They're $3, guys, $3, and they come with rope. They're not exactly the same as the Poland ones. They're a little shorter, but aesthetically they are the same. And more times than not, your 306A or 245 is gonna come with a replacement because they are old and people rip the ropes out of them and stuff, so it's not really a big deal. Don't miss this screw here, guys. A lot of people miss it. There's one right here behind the recoil rope. A lot of people miss it. All right. Turn it around. Once we get down to installing the carburetor, and the fuel lines, that's the end of it, you know? You're not really... All the major stuff is done. Holy shit, we're missing some hardware here. Or maybe I'm just not seeing it. I don't know. It looks to me like we're missing one. I've got a million of these screws, but I don't really want to go digging right now. Here's one. That's replacement. We're going to clean this up a little bit. You don't have to do this, but I do this just because I'm super anal about the way these look. Even if nobody's ever going to see inside of the saw, I want the owner, or whoever buys it, to know that this thing is clean. It's like when you go to a car show, you know, and you lift the hood on a 79 Corvette. You see the inside of that block is beautiful, like you could eat off of the engine. That's kind of what I want these saws to look like. So, you don't have to do what I just did, but just run a little sandpaper over the hardware, over the heads of the screws. It takes 2 seconds of your life, and you get a much better looking saw. Alright, put this down in there. One and two. Alright, there's literally one last screw that you put in to hold this top piece on, but trust me when I tell you, don't put it in now. Wait until after the carburetor's been installed. It's this one right here next to the fuel flue, because when you're putting in this mounting screw here with that big ass head of that screw sticking out, you're going to have a hard time getting in that tight area. So just wait until you are completely done installing the carburetor before you put that in. Take my advice, because there's like no room for you to work in there as it is. All right. Here, really quick, we can actually put this on now. People are afraid to pull these off or twist them off. They just pop on and off, guys. That's all you gotta do. They're not glued on. You can glue them on if you want to, because some of them are a little loose, but it's better to just press them on there as best you can. If they fall off, just put them back on. No big deal. I can, if I want to, I can put the fan cover back on and this back on, but I am going to be kind of handling this a little bit, putting in the carb. So I guess I'll wait on that, because you know, you want to rub the bottom of this saw as the least amount as possible. So that can wait. It's not a big deal. And I don't think I'm going to go too much longer on this, guys. It's because we've gone long enough as it is. I know we got some viewers in here still, but I think I'll pick up with a video of it running after this. So I'm going to show you how to put the carb in, and then I'll do that on my own. We'll end the stream, but I want to thank you guys for watching. I know every single time we do this, we get new people in here. I appreciate that. All you Texas Chainsaw fans, appreciate the love and support. Keep your eye out for this saw, guys, because I think this one's going to be on the market here soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.